Yo, what's good? It's your boy Mafioso. Welcome to the Hive Hustle podcast, where we dive into the great world of street culture. Um, this is episode 7 now.
It's official now. The Hive Hustle podcast about to sit you down. Go and fix your crown. This ain't a grain of salt. Pick your brain and thoughts, even through a major loss. Still remain a boss.
I'm here with a good friend, a mentor of mine, if I could say.
Hello.
Christina, Lady Mafioso, 44. Lim, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You
I'm
good?
good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we gonna go in.
All right.
As you know, I do this podcast because street culture is definitely really like shaped my life. So I wanted to bring you on here because let me get set. This is like too much right now. Okay. All right, we good. I wanted to bring you on here because you mean a lot to me. You've helped me tremendously in my life, and people need to hear your story. You really inspire me tremendously. So first things first, how did you discover Krump, and what made you want to be a part of it?
That was really simple. I first went to a studio. I always really like, actually, I can just rewind back. I think when I was growing up, I kind of was exposed to dance a little bit. I grew up in Hong Kong till I was 15.
Okay.
And I think I've been exposed to dance like through movies and stuff, you know.
What was the first movie you seen?
Oh, it was breaking.
Really?
Yeah, it was like with dance in it. Or see, I don't think I went
That's
to.
that's the first movie I seen too.
Yeah,
so
I don't think I watched Flashdance.
I didn't.
I knew
didn't
of
either.
it, you know, because this girls saw Flashdance, but I don't think I watched that until like they were out on videos. But I think that was Breaking was a movie that I saw in the theater.
Okay.
I don't know if I watched that there or after I came to the States. And I remember seeing it, and I was like, they're so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I so wanted to be one of the dudes because, you know, the girl was kind of like, I don't know, just didn't inspire me too much in that movie. But she was cool. I mean, you know, but I watched it. But I just honestly didn't think that was anything that I could do.
Okay.
You know, I just
You
thought,
didn't
like,
think it at that time.
No.
Now,
that
how
was-
old were you when you seen Breaking?
It's got to be in my teens. I don't know.
Okay.
Somewhere between 15 to 18.
And so, was it when you moved to the States already, or was it before?
It's somewhere around there.
So, like right
Yeah.
before. Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
So basically, you were introduced to street culture, somewhat shape or form, through Breaking.
Yeah, through Hollywood.
Okay.
I know that's not real street.
It's perfect.
But it was cool.
Like Jesse Sykes, he was introduced to it by walking into an event. You know, so ultimately, we all get introduced to it different ways.
Yeah.
So street culture then, and then how, like, throughout, obviously 15 years old, you were an adult. What happened? How did Krump come into your life?
Krump didn't come in my life until much later. So I think first kind of street dance culture I got introduced to is funk.
Yeah.
I think in my early 30s, before I got married, I kind of got introduced to popping and a little bit of locking.
Okay.
Just through
Did you do it, or did you just watch it?
No, I was actually starting to learn some hip hop dance. I got into a group called Community Street Jam.
Okay.
And they were just kind of like a community group. This woman, actually, she is like a big reason why it made me think that maybe I could do something, because she was 10 years ahead of me. And she started dancing when she was young, when like MC Hammer and all that. So she started that group, and she was teaching hip hop choreography.
Okay.
And so I was like, maybe I can learn this, you know. So I learned a little bit of that. And but through that, I kind of got to know just other things. And this other teacher that was teaching choreography too, but it was popping and and locking
Okay.
style. So I learned a little bit of that, and I watch him teach some people on the side or practice on the side how to freestyle. And again, I was like learning choreo. I was like, this is good enough. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
those are like those talented people. I think at the time it was like, there was Nicodemus was there.
Okay. So
just
were you
different
always
one.
in San Jose?
Mostly in that area. San Jose, kind of in that Bay Area,
Okay.
South Bay Area, South
So
Bay.
you've been there since you moved to the States?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So I just kind of stopped basically doing that after I got married.
Okay.
After I got married, I thought, oh yeah, I settled down because I was like, we had like little shows and stuff, and I was out a lot. And you just first got married, and the husband was like,
Your direction changed.
I did.
Yeah, and that's right for that to happen, you know? Like I know when I got married, my dancing slowed down. You know, you got to build that relationship. It takes time, effort.
Yeah.
Now, so you've always been in the Bay. You were involved in funk dancing for a little bit, through popping, through like learning choreography.
Yeah.
And then that was in your late 30s. And then you found krump when?
Early 30s.
Early 30s? Then you
Yeah.
found krump when?
44 when I was 13 years after I got married for about 13 years, didn't have kids.
Okay.
And I was thinking like, oh yeah, it'll be really cool to learn dance again, and found out there was like a studio near me that just opened.
Okay.
So I went to learn popping because I really wanted to learn popping.
Yeah.
I was starting to get some private lessons from a teacher that I knew before. And then when I found a studio, so I started learning. And then they had a grand opening because I found them when they have a soft opening. When they have a grand opening, they had like tryout classes. And there's this guy, Aftershock. He's the guy who started K408 for Krump 408.
Okay.
He started the Krump movement. And it was... Yeah, so he was giving a free class, and I just walked into the class. I didn't know what to expect. I think the owner of the studio said, "Christina, go take that class. You'll like it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I walked in and just learned some foundations and felt pretty good. But what got me was when he turned on the music.
Really?
Yeah, he like, "All right, let's dance to some music." And he like, do his thing, and I was like, I would literally just go, where have you been all my life? Kind of feeling.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, it was
the music.
Yes, it was.
I've never heard that. So
'Cause I was like-
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I've always heard people see it and they get inspired to do it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's a total opposite. That's dope.
It's official now. The Hive Hustle podcast about to sit you down. Go and fix your crown. This ain't a grain of salt. Pick your brain and thoughts, even through a major loss. Still remain a boss. Resonate with greatness. Celebrate creators. Ain't no blanket statements. Elevate and claim it. So amazed, I'm making the way for those in need. Mold the lane, showing change in a growing me.
And I didn't even know about Rise and all that yet.
Really?
The teacher, so when I got into it, Aftershock said, "Oh, you gotta check out all this other stuff," and sent me video and told me to look up stuff on YouTube, look up tight eyes. That's a standard
everything. Yeah,
thing.
everybody does that.
Yeah, standard. Check out Rise, and I was like, I watched that, and I was like,
Oh, this is different.
that exists, like I'm like, how do I sort of kind of try to do something like that?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So your name is 44, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. I know a lot about you, but the
Yeah.
viewers that are watching probably don't.
Yeah.
Why 44? And what's the representation of it?
Oh yeah, there's so much in that. So when I started learning, Aftershock kind of said, yeah, people who are really serious about krump usually will have a krump name. They'll
Okay.
figure it out. And I'm like, well, am I supposed to wait for other people to pick it? And they said, no, figure it out. So, there was a girl in the class at the time. She was helping me. We were just kind of brainstorming over text and trying to figure it out. And I don't know, 44 was how old I was, right? And so that was my age. And I kind of wanted to use that to represent me because, I always kind of like the kind of conflicting view because, I was feeling too old for that.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I kind of thought, well, it is really who I am. Just me being brave. This is like the beginning of me really trying to do some freestyling. Trying to step into something that I didn't think I could do. Yeah, and then I think the Roman numerals look kind of like a cross, and then I'm Christian, so it kind of meant something to me. Plus, 44 sounded like ammo,
I was gonna say the same thing.
I was like, well, this song kind of,
Yeah.
So I thought that would fly,
Okay.
And nobody else had the name at the time. Because that was the thing. I was told, like, you want to
can't-
look that up?
Be different.
And I wasn't about to battle for existence because I just started. I was like, no.
You pick a name and you got to battle somebody right
So
away.
that was, that's how it came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's great. Like, honestly, like, to know that your name obviously has to do with your life shows that obviously you had intention when you first started. That's always big. There's so many people that just get into stuff just to get into it, but you started with an intention, and that's always really good. Now, obviously, when you came into the scene, you were a lot older than everybody. On top of you being a lot older than everybody, there wasn't really a scene in your city that was already cultivated. So you were kind of like on an island, so to speak, and a couple people that you were kind of like really like with. Did you travel to learn more about krump, or did you just keep in your city for a while?
Yeah, so there was a movement for it. So when Aftershock started it, I think it got kind of big.
Okay.
It got pretty big, actually.
Really?
Yeah, but then it kind of slowed down. I think because he was leading it, and he was, I think he got a full-time job or something, so it slowed down.
Yeah.
And so by the time I was doing it, he was busy. There were a few. So I just want to get that record straight, because there was like a movement.
Oh, there was a movement.
And I think,
before.
there was a movement, sound said, because he started it. And part of NorCal was helping him too, in the SAC area. They've kind of gotten to know him. I didn't know them very well.
Okay. So there was a little bit of a movement. So was there like a weekly session? Was there like just him teaching?
No, it was more like I would bug him, and then he would try to put a session together to be like in somebody's backyard.
Hey, I'm not gonna
He
lie.
was-
As a leader, that's really good to have.
Yeah,
Because
he
having
was
people
really-
bug you and be like, "Hey, I want to dance," like,
Yeah.
oh, that's great.
He was really trying to pull things together for me, and so that helped. And he encouraged me. He just said, he's like, just go and check these out. And first I went to Sacramento because that was the closest thing I could go to.
Yeah.
That had some krump. And I remember going to an event, and that was also the first time I think I saw Tight Eyes there. He was judging.
Okay.
And then I think after I went to a few more of those, people have been supportive. And then I think it's your show.
The Arc,
It's
right?
Arc. Yes, that was like,
2015.
I think it may be 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just decided to come. And
I remember you
told-
hit me up.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You and I got connected because of the NorCal event.
Yep.
Now it's all coming back to me.
Yep.
Yes. And so when
That was
there
the
a
first
show-
time I met you.
Yeah, like on
Because you were like, "Hey, I want you to come," and I was like, "Hold on, what?" At the time, my ex-wife was like, "This random lady wants to help us get there. What are you talking about?"
Oh, that's right, because I saw a post.
Yes.
You were saying, hey, you know what, something just fell through
Yeah.
or something, and you needed some arrangements.
And
so
you
I was
helped
like,
us.
yeah.
That was the first time, and then the next time it was you coming to Vegas for the Arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I talked my husband into driving me.
He drove you to the Arc?
Yeah, he drove me to
Oh,
Vegas the first time.
San Jose to Vegas.
Yeah.
That's like 8, right?
Yeah, not ever doing it again with the husband. It was way too hard.
Man,
way too
that's a long drive.
Yeah.
So after the Arc, did it just say seal it for you?
But definitely, yeah. I mean, I kept seeking it, and I think that was the first arc I went to. I think Cube.
Yeah, it was the first Arc.
And he won
the
that, yeah.
EBS qualifier.
Oh my gosh! And I thought he was so awesome. I was like, dude, whoa, he was awesome. And I don't know, I just was meeting a lot of people, and yeah, that was kind of like, wow, this is pretty big. And people were friendly.
Definitely.
I was just kind of learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It was crazy to see you when you like were at the Arc, because I remember seeing you and you were like so like happy about it and so excited about Krump. It made me excited about it. Does that
That's
make
awesome.
sense?
Yeah.
Like you really don't understand like what you do, just loving the culture. A lot of people worry about the politics. They worry about the he said, she said, and then you run into people like, hey, I just want to dance. Like I just want to have a good time, and that's when you really get inspired. And you lit that into a lot of people. I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I was too new to know about politics.
Literally, and that's the greatest part. And then when we get involved and things happen, and
I was a fangirl for so many things. Like everybody I met, I'm like, can I have a selfie? You know,
those were the days.
I had so many selfies. Just go, can I take a picture with you? And people were nice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. Now, being that you are now 9 years, almost a decade in, because obviously you have some experience, what advice would you give somebody that is around the age of like late 40s, wants to get involved in something like this?
I would say just tap in, you know, talk to people, find some people, and just, you know, go check it out. Just go check it out. And I don't know, just I think for me it was the age, and I was always heavy set too. I wasn't really in shape, and I'm still not really in shape, but you know, just tap in and just, I don't know, keep going if you really like it. I have a weird theory. I feel like Krump, if you've been around and you really tap in for about 3 years and you still want to do it,
You're in.
you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta really tap in though. Like you really just kind of have to go to the cities, or at least check out LA and understand what's going on. And then if you really still like it after 3 years,
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like you have to put both feet in. So many people are 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like they'll
Yeah.
learn the style in a class, but they ain't going to the 818.
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Like
just-
if you go into LA and you hit the 818 and you actually like are sitting there sessioning at 11 p.m., 12 a.m.
yeah,
with all of them, you'll see it's a really great culture.
yeah, and you don't even have to jump in, right? Because at the beginning I did a whole lot of watching the first
Yeah.
few years.
Yeah,
'Cause I
oh,
was
yeah.
scared.
I
mean,
remember.
I'm just gonna admit it. I was just scared a lot because there was just a lot of talks and there were a lot of different things I really just didn't understand. I'm not one. So there are people that are bold that will just jump in and they're not afraid. I'm not one of them. I am afraid a lot of times. I'm like, I don't want to offend anyone. And,
Yeah.
And so I did a whole lot of watching, and that's cool too. You know.
It's official now. The Hive Hustle podcast about to sit you down. Go and fix your crown. This ain't a grain of salt. Pick your brain and thoughts, even through a major loss. Still remain a boss. Resonate with greatness. Celebrate creators. Ain't no blanket statements. Elevate and claim it. So amazed, I'm making the way for those in need. Mold the lane, showing change in the growing me.
You built a lot of relationships too, because I feel like that's where the conversations is where it happens. Like you learn a lot. That's why a lot of people you'll see, they talk more in their classes than they actually like. They get to dancing, but there's a lot of nuggets in listening to a teacher or listening to a student, you know. So now, are there any specific krump dancers or people like in krump or even dance in general that you would consider like your mentor or somebody that really influenced you while you got into the culture?
Well, definitely my fam.
Yeah.
Right. So
Obviously, we know I'm your big homie.
you're my big
Bullethead's
homie.
your big homie. but-
Bullethead.
Yeah.
Of course, I was always looking at the creators. At the beginning, it's just kind of like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they're all so cool. I don't know, when I watched Daisy dance, at
Man.
ARC, that's where I met her too, and now
Man.
she's a friend. She's a good friend. I love her, but I don't know.
She always has like a crazy like energy to me, and she's so hard to like figure out. Because when I'm in person with her, I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Daisy?" And then she's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Well, okay, hi." Like she's an amazing person,
Yes,
and every
she's-
time I've ever been around her, she's dope.
Yeah, she's just, I don't know. I just like that how she's calm, but when she's
she
in it,
gets, man.
I don't know. She's just like transformed, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
whoa. I really love that. And generally, right now, I don't know if it is any single dancer, but I love what the women are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because at the beginning, I didn't really think about the women very much. I was just trying to like not suck. So I'm just focused on myself. See, that's also one message I like to get out there. It's like, hey, if, you know, because there's so much about krump that I hear like, hey, you know, just go in and, you know, you just have to like not be
Get
afraid
out there, yeah.
and get out there and just, I'm like,
Sometimes you can't do that.
no, and
Yeah.
that's kind of cool too. It just takes me longer, but I kind of got somewhere.
Well,
Slowly.
I feel like, with that said, like it takes you longer. The tortoise won the race.
Yeah, tortoise is still going.
You get what I'm
Winning or
saying?
not, I'm
Winning
still
or
going.
not, they're going. Like,
You know?
like one step at a time, 1%
Yeah.
better. Like,
Yeah.
there's that. I feel like that's the best way to do it, to be honest. And for somebody of 44, 50 years old, I feel like that's probably the most smartest way, if we want to
Yeah.
be honest, unless if they're in amazing shape.
Yeah.
But regardless of that,
Yeah.
so you would say, obviously, me, Bullethead, Daisy, those would be like people that inspired you.
Oh yeah, totally.
The creators, obviously. Ty
I'm a
Azzamino.
relationship person.
Yeah, me too.
You know, so it's like, yeah, there are a lot of dope dancers out there, but it's always the relationship. Once I get to know a person,
You get more inspired.
oh yeah, and it's like, oh,
That's why I listen to a lot of my friends' music instead of listening to like random music. Because if I don't know your story, like it don't hit as hard.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like when we listen to Ron B, like I listen to Ron B so much because I know his story and everything he's talking about. I'm like, oh, that's when that happened. Oh crap.
Yeah.
Oh crap. He just said that. Like I can
Yeah.
understand. That's
Yeah.
why even when I was like heavy into Christian hip hop, like I would listen to like people that I knew or that I had access to because I
Yeah.
can know their story.
yeah, and you know, Ron B too.
He's tight as hell.
Yeah, because when I was starting in your fam, he was helping out a lot. He was encouraging.
Man, he
was-
still helps out a lot
I
and still
know.
encourages.
He just, you know, he gave me a lot of love, and that's what is needed. You know, it's like when somebody just is not looking at my dance skills, to just giving me the love,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, all right, you know,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, now, last question.
okay.
What's next?
So I don't know. Keep going.
You got anything coming
I
up?
would just do one step at a time. Usually, I try not to look too far. Yeah, right now I'm kind of in the season where I'm just going, okay, what's the next thing I can do? I like to get a battle in now, finally. Just try
she's
to see.
battling at the
I'm
corner
trying-
session at the end of the year, y'all. I'm just putting it out there.
No, anyways, I like to.
No, she's going to.
Okay, all right.
I have connections. Psycho, if you're watching this.
Hey, I did approach him though.
I know you did.
Yes. But
And I'll seal the deal, don't worry.
yeah. And no, just kind of doing things that I keep going to the next step where it's something that I'm kind of going, yeah, I didn't think I could do that. Whatever that, and then it feels kind of like, but I kind of think it's cool. Usually it means I should get to the next thing. And after that, I don't know. I don't think about it that far.
Okay.
I honestly don't.
Day
Just-
by day, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, if I'm still crumping, that's good enough.
That's good enough. Hey.
Yeah, I love this.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for allowing me to interview you.
Thank you
It's
for
great
this.
to always have a conversation with you.
Yes.
If you want to follow her, CLIM Carlson on Instagram. And thank you for tuning in, man. This is episode 7 of the Hive Hustle podcast. I'm your boy Mafioso. This is 44. We appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, and do all that. All right.
Thank you.